Everyone to the Commission on Ending Homelessness meeting. As everyone said, it's been a while since we met, but we're here and happy to see everybody here. And so I hope that everyone has had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting. And I would love to entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Shane, so moved.
Thanks. How about a second?
Keisha, second.
Thank you, Keisha. Okay.
Actually, Keisha's not on the commission board. She can't second.
Okay.
So the commission member to second. Sorry,
My
Keisha.
apologies. No problem.
That's okay.
I do appreciate the second.
Yeah.
If one of the other members could give me a second.
Right. I think, Alan, that's you or Melissa.
I'll do it.
Or William or Marcus.
Okay. I don't know that Marcus was on the commission in April, though.
True, but yeah.
Which is why I didn't call him out for it.
So who gave me a second? Melissa or
William, I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll take it from William. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we do have a new member join us, Marcus Nelson. So Andrea, what do you think we should do? Do a round table introduction here, or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I can just call everyone. So Alan, why don't you introduce yourself and then.
Okay. Okay, I am Alan Hodges. I'm the chair of the operating cabinet, COC operating cabinet. I work full-time for Zach Smith Reynolds Foundation, and I teach math part-time at Forsyth Tech. So that's me.
Excellent. Melissa?
Hi, I'm Melissa Morris at Hearst, and I'm the Senior Director of Child Welfare at Cross North Communities for Children.
Keisha?
Hello again, Keisha Robinson, Coordinated Entry Specialist at Salisbury VA. I'm part of the Healthcare for Homeless Veterans Program.
Shane?
Hi, Shane Atwood. I'm actually the social services representative on the board, and it's a 3-year term. I'm no longer at social services, but still serving the term, and I hope to continue to do so. I am at Atrium Health, and I'm a performance improvement advisor.
And Adrian?
Hi, Marcus. Welcome. My name is Adrienne Morse. I'm the COC program coordinator. I'm just filling in for Sharika for today. But welcome.
And William? Yeah.
You're muted.
You're muted.
William Penn. I'm with the Winston-Salem Police Department.
Excellent. Kathleen?
I'm Kathleen Weiner. I'm with United Way and provide administrative support for the commission.
And I'm Andrea Kurtz. I'm the executive director of the housing strategies at United Way, and I provide the strategic support to the continuum of care. So, and Marcus.
My name is, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Marcus Nelson. I am a branch manager at TD Bank during the day. Also an entrepreneur within Winston-Salem. I own a few restaurants in the area as well as lounges. So again, I'm thankful for an opportunity to serve and help the city of Winston in any way I can. So
Thank you, Marcus. Great to have you. Thanks. Okay. So Keisha, I guess you're up first with the 2023 veteran goals.
Okay, great. I will try to share my screen.
Yeah, I think it should let you. It's not giving me the option to give sharing. So yeah, okay. Excellent.
Is it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I do have updated numbers since the operating cabinet met earlier this week. So these are this is the data for the end of July through the end of July. So just as a reminder for those who missed the call on Tuesday, the operating cabinet call, a reminder of the VA goals for calendar year 2023. Of course, we want to continue to permanently house veterans with a goal of at least 38,000 veterans being housed nationally. prevention of returns to homelessness, and also further engagement of unsheltered veterans. So here's where we are nationally as of the end of July, with that target number being 38,000 plus veterans. We are currently at 26,470, which is just shy of 70%. So looks like we're doing pretty good. Locally for Salisbury VA, which encompasses 21 counties, including Forsyth, our target number was at least 371 veterans to be permanently housed. We are currently at 247. So a little over 66% of our goal so far for this year. And then as far as trying to prevent returns to homelessness, or making sure that veterans who find housing will be able to stay housed. Of the 247 veterans that have been housed, we have had 10 to return to homelessness, and 8 of those 10 have been rehoused or on the pathway to being rehoused. And then our target number for connecting with unsheltered veterans was 178, and we have definitely exceeded that goal at 320 veterans so far this calendar year. And lastly is if you encounter veterans who are in need of housing assistance and want to connect with the VA and or SSVF for support, this is just contact information for how that can be done. And that ends my report. Are there any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much, Keisha. Oh, I'm sorry.
Why do you think there's been such a, it just seems like there's been a recent increase? Because I know we're seeing high numbers too for veterans that we're serving. You have any idea why it's so busy right now, or?
And why there are more veterans that are homeless?
Well, it just seems like, we're reaching out, we're hitting more people. Like you've already exceeded your goal for the year.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're doing a better job of communicating services that are available. So that's definitely one thing. We have hired a couple of outreach social workers at the VA. So they are getting out and about a little bit more. So I don't know, that could be some potential reasons why we're having more contact with veterans who are unsheltered. So yeah,
That's
and
great.
of course you guys are always doing a good job too, helping us to connect with veterans. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I think I was just going to say congratulations, because this is really such remarkable progress. And I think, you're pacing ahead of like goal for how many folks are getting housed. Folks who are falling out of housing are really doing a great job getting them back into housing.
Yeah.
The housing market is still so hard. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the catchment area for Salisbury. I can't imagine it's better in Charlotte. But it's the market's expensive. The market is tight. And so that represents so much work on everybody's part. So
yeah, you're right, Andrea. It is tight everywhere. We do have a site that will be coming on board in October, where we will have 40 project-based vouchers for HUD-VASH. So that will, hopefully get some more momentum going in that area. Other areas, I don't know if that's an option for Forsyth to even consider down the road, but it's not necessarily the VA that directs that, it's the housing authority. So that might be a conversation worth having to see if that's an option. So anyway, but yeah, we're making some leeway.
Absolutely. We definitely look at that, exploring something like that. So
yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Keisha. That's great. Great report. So does anybody else have any questions for Keisha?
Hey, Keisha, email me your report when you have a minute. Thank you.
We'll certainly do that. You're welcome.
Okay, so I guess, Adrian, you're up on the home base update, and I guess you've got the rest of the meeting actually. So
Yes, okay,
Welcome.
so thank you. Home base will be consulting with our COC to provide coordinated entry system evaluation. They will specifically be evaluating our CES for fidelity to local policies and procedures, as well as fidelity to national HUD requirements and our effectiveness in reaching, assessing, prioritizing, and referring participants. They aim to organize workflow, prevent duplication, and propose strategies to eliminate existing gaps. That's what I have for home base, and we're meeting with them once every other Wednesday around 3 p.m.
Adrian, who's involved in those meetings with home base? Is it just city staff or is there a wider COC meeting?
So it's just city staff right now. Sharika and I and Javon and Laura.
Okay. Is there a plan? I mean, in the past when we've had consultants work with the COC, there's been a wider involvement of COC
this is just
representatives?
right. So this is just the initial phase of this. Soon we're gonna sort of probably kind of move away from the biweekly meetings because they want to start doing work with our actual COC members.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've only met maybe 3 times, I want to say.
Okay.
Yes. And the second on the agenda is the COC funding recommendation. Can I share my screen? Can everybody see that? Oh, what did I do?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So,
Well, we could. It went away.
Now it's
oh,
gone.
it went
Yeah.
away?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Now
know.
it's
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I have to keep it over here. Okay.
Now, Adrian, before you get started, this is something that you're going to need a vote on, right?
Yes.
These are the recommendations. So yes.
Yeah. So Alan, after she presents, we'll need to someone will need to make a motion to approve to go to city council.
Okay, thanks.
So I have here the sort of like rationale for how the rating panel scored everything. So they wanted to fund projects and agency renewals at an ARA. So they the annual renewal amount, they wanted to rank projects in order of performance. So this is how they ranked them. HMIS system final coordinated performance was 89.45. You can kind of see how this all ranked. Let me see if I have. I don't know if you guys want to also see the scorecard as well.
I'm not sure we need to see the scorecard. What does anybody else think?
I don't think so. Adrian, I can, because I know we do have some very new members on the commission. If you want to, or I can just go over what each of these projects are so people understand.
Sure. I can, okay, you can do that, but I'll also just give you a little bit of the feedback that we got from the rating panel as well.
Okay.
So they wanted to use the 9,981 above the tier 1/tier 2 funding line to fund the new HMIS expansion. And that was a $10,000 request. So it made sense. And then use the remaining reallocated renewal funds and COC bonus funds for the city with dwellings, the new project for supportive services, for the supportive service request. And since the city with dwelling request is for supportive services, the rating panel recommended that the neighborly project be divided into 2 project types based on proposed activities and serve as expansions to existing renewals. So I just wanted to put that out there.
And the other renewals were pretty flat, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Andrea, if you want to go over it.
Yeah. So the project number 1, the HMIS project, that's what funds all of our mandatory work in the HMIS system. And it also helps cover the cost of operating that system. And then the expansion just helps cover some of the increased costs that we have in terms of managing the HMIS system. The Fifth Street 2 project is and the Fifth Street expansion are two related projects that came in different years. It is a permanent supportive housing project-based program that's run by Experiment and Self-Reliance. And the Fifth Street 1 serves about, I think they have 9 units in that, and then the expansion, don't quote me on that one, it's something like that, and then the expansion is another probably 18 units. The Forsyth PSH Collaborative is a partnership among the agencies that provide scattered site permanent supportive housing. So that money funds both case managers at a variety of agencies, as well as housing vouchers for the people who are in that program. The Housing Independence Project is a rapid rehousing program. It is a partnership between Family Services and United Way that provides rapid rehousing services for victims of domestic violence. The I skipped the ESR case management program. Okay, so line 4 is the rapid rehousing program, and line 5 is the permanent supportive housing program. Sorry for that, I missed that. And the rapid rehousing program is a partnership between a number of agencies in the community to provide rapid rehousing services, which is a short to medium term subsidy program, versus the project in line 5, the PSH Collaborative, which is a long-term subsidy program. And then the Community Intake Center Consolidated Combined Program, that's the core piece of our coordinated assessment program, which again is a HUD mandated service. And that helps support some work around front end diversion work. It also helps with the coordination of and managing the prioritization list, as well as intake and identifying people who are preparing to move into supportive housing programs. And for those of you who have not been a part of the HUD COC grants before, this grant is a renewal preference grant, and meaning HUD likes to keep funding the things that it's always funded, but every year there's opportunities to bring new projects in, and that can happen in one of two ways. You can either choose to reallocate money from projects that either have more money than they're able to use, or projects that are not continuing forward. And there is the opportunity for bonus projects. So this year, the bonus project specifically was again for rapid rehousing for victims of domestic violence. And as you can see, our Housing Independence Project HIP, which is the domestic violence specific project, is actually larger than our DV rapid rehousing program. So our assessment is we don't need more money to serve domestic violence victims. So we're not applying for a bonus project. And then cities with dwellings has never received money from the COC grant before, but they had put in an application. Their program, I talked with Ruth after the meeting on Tuesday. The application that they submitted was for a project that identified folks who were living outside on the street with severe and persistent mental illness, along with other mental illness and mental health and substance abuse challenges, and supporting them from identifying them on the street all the way through moving them into permanent supportive housing. And so what Sharika explained on Tuesday was the ratings panel, wanted to fund the whole project, but in order to fit the project in as an expansion, as opposed to a new project, which is better in terms of HUD rankings. They divided the one big project into two smaller projects, doing exactly the same things. And all of the services related to working with folks in outreach on the street, serving them before we got them into a supportive housing program is in that project line 9, which is the community intake center expansion. And so I talked with Ruth, and that program will now work very closely with the United Way program. They already do work very closely together to link a lot more capacity and street outreach, which is fantastic because we need that, into coordinated assessment. So we'll have much more information and in the HMIS in order to prioritize people who are staying outside on the street. And that second line 10 project is the permanent supportive housing piece of the project. And so that will include case managers as well as housing vouchers for people who are transitioning from the street into permanent supportive housing. So, any questions about the projects themselves? So, the other thing, just to help clarify, when HUD puts out the COC awards, they divide into two tiers, and anything that they give you an amount and they say this amount is in tier 1, everything else is in tier 2. You can feel relatively secure that anything in tier 1 will get funded, and the tier 2 programs are ones that are really dependent on your application score and how much money HUD has to give out. And so part of the reason it's strategically better to make projects expansions of something else as opposed to new projects is that if HUD sees that you're growing a program, that's more likely to get funded than if it's something brand new. So that's what I have to say about the awards.
Thank you, Andrea. So there will be a motion, you said, to vote on this, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we need
Correct.
somebody to make a motion to approve as presented.
This is Shane. I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Shane. Okay, so we need a second.
As a fill-in, I can't second, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It has to.
Okay.
Sharika is not you have to be a voting member of the commission. So.
Yeah,
I'll second.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
Y'all are so
Okay.
shy about making a motion. And I guess Alan just checked, does everybody agree?
Yeah, is anyone opposed? Okay, well, the funding carries then. Thank you.
And Adrian, can you just send me a copy of that?
Yes.
to go
I'll
with
send
it?
you a few things attached to this as well.
Okay, thank you.
Stop sharing now. And I think the last item was just an update on the PSH motel update. And okay, so we're acquiring the Innkeeper on Peters Creek. We'll be developing 85 PSH units for chronically homeless individuals, and we will be able to provide more information on timeline and other pertinent information once that information becomes more available. So this is just a quick little update.
Adrian, do you remember where on Peters Creek the Innkeeper is? Is that the one that's by Marketplace?
It's by IHOP.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, on the left-hand side. You're
Yep,
coming
okay.
from downtown. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, very much so. And that's all I have.
So is that the same group that's been doing this around the country? Or
I
is this
believe
something-
so, from what Sharika shared with me.
I know you said
Mhm.
more information is to come. Do you know how many beds that'll be or how many units that will be? Or is that to
85?
come? 85?
Oh.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
That's
great, thank
good.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is the project that Shrika mentioned several months ago.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. That's a huge milestone that
Yes, it is.
I know it's been hard to find property, and that's a fantastic location. So, yay.
Does anyone else-
This is time to do all the happy names.
That's right.
Yeah, it's time to celebrate on that. That's excellent.
Yes. Well, that's all I have, Alan.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. Does anybody
Thank
else
you,
have any
Andrea.
questions? Yeah, and Andrea, yeah.
I just had one update. I wasn't in the agenda planning meeting, but in talking with Ruth this week, one, just so you all have the information, there will be changes to the winter shelter. So for the last about 7-8 years, Cities with Dwellings has been running an overflow shelter during winter months, creating additional they're not permanent, but they're seasonal beds for people. So they would bring people in as long as people wanted that bed. It was there for them every night of the winter season. This year they're moving to a white flag only model, which is what we were doing before the overflow beds came online. So they'll only be opening beds if the weather hits certain conditions. I'm assuming we're working with the conditions we've always had, which is if it's
Yeah,
30.
I think she said 32 or
Yeah.
38 in precipitation.
Yep, that's our typical. And so they'll have the capacity to do 40 beds of emergency white flag shelter when we need it. And so that's one change that we'll be sort of monitoring how that plays out. The other thing that's not unrelated to this, we've been watching very closely with the numbers of folks who are sleeping outside. And the last count, just for those of you who are watching it, was 270. So we are continuing to see that number go up and up. Again, very much, I think, a symptom of the housing market and how very hard it is to get people into the housing market. So we're watching that. It is part of the reason I'm super excited about the Cities with Dwellings expansion project that will provide a lot more capacity for street outreach. So,
Andrew, quick question on that. With it operating as white flag versus dedicated for the season, will the rooms or the beds still be assigned to a person, and that person's only available to come on white flag days, or is it open for who shows up that day?
It's open for who shows up that day.
Gotcha. Just a question.
And a lot of that just has to do with the population is so transient.
Yeah.
One of the things that we discussed was when they started really looking at who was coming to that seasonal overflow, they were people who seemed to be homeless in the winter, but not the rest of the year. And so
people needed a break from their family, right?
that was what they were beginning to sense. Or it was people who sort of got stranded in Forsyth County as they were trying to get somewhere else. And so they're going to put more energy in helping people who are here trying to get to somewhere else, get to that other place, and then really just trying to meet that weather emergency need. So,
where are they going to hold it?
At their facility. So they have a building permit that allows them to have 40 people, up to 40 people.
So they'll do the overflow shelter at City of Dwellings and White Flag, or
No, there's no overflow. There's
for the nights that they do have to do it. So for the nights that they open up and do beds, they're going to do it at City of Dwellings instead of the churches.
Correct.
Okay, and the actual White Flag is going to be at City of Dwellings as well.
They're the same thing. There's not two different programs. All they're doing is white flag.
Okay.
So the overflow was seasonal beds. White flag is just emergency beds. So that's all they're doing.
So they're not going to actually have any beds on the white flag nights because you're saying that you could have up to 40 beds. So that's where I was confused.
Oh, I believe that they will continue to have mats for people.
Okay. But
As
it's
opposed
all
to
white
what-
flag.
What?
It's all white flag and it's only going to be open when the weather.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So those were the only updates that I have at the moment.
Okay, does anyone else have any announcements or other business to discuss?
Marcus, do you have any questions for us? Not to put you on the spot, but
No, not yet. I'm just taking everything in. As I'm just kind of doing a deep dive on things that were sent to me. I definitely will have questions at a later time. I guess I can reach out. I guess when that time comes, who will I reach out, directly through email?
Yeah. Feel free to give me a call, Marcus. And
Okay.
I'm happy to work with you.
Perfect.
And Sharika as well, if you have her contact information.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think any of us on the call would complain if you emailed and reached out with a question. So anytime,
Right.
Marcus. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And welcome to the new folks for sure. Glad to have you.
Thank you all
let's see.
for your time today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks to everybody. And I was just trying to see when the next meeting is. It's what? 9/21, September 21st, right?
Yes.
September 21st is the next Commission on Ending Homelessness meeting.
yes.
So, yeah, thanks to everyone for the participation and the great discussion. Anything else?
I think that's all.
Andrew,
Okay.
stay on for just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see everybody on the 21st.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.